In this video, I'm going to be teaching you a relaxation strategy that I became aware of as a pretty young child because my mom used to do it. And even though she never would have called it a stress management strategy, she did it because she loved it and it just relaxed her, and it is coloring. Now, those of you who are not artistic, I don't want you to worry. This isn't about artistic expression. It isn't about talent. In fact, the end product doesn't matter at all. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on the process of coloring. So instead of worrying about creating something, you're simply going to be focused on what it feels like to move the crayon across the paper. Maybe it's just the repetitive motion of moving your fingers back and forth, or maybe it's the feel of the crayon on the paper. That's going to be more important than what it looks like at the end. One of the ways that we can do this is we can use designs that have already been created for us. And when I was a kid, my mom used to have a book of these. They're very common nowadays, but they weren't that common back when she was doing it. And I'm going to hold something up for you. You've probably seen coloring books that have things like this in it. It's just an abstract design. And I'll share the website where I got this one from. I'll put a link to it on our website where these videos are posted so you can follow it if you want. There's tons of free printable downloads that you can use. But what matters, again, is not so much that it looks beautiful when you're done. It's simply that you have this kind of structured design that you can focus your attention on. And by allowing your brain to just take like a little break from all your worries, you are allowing your brain and your body to just kind of reset and refresh. We can actually trigger real stress in ourselves just by worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. And we can give ourselves a little bit of break from those worrying thoughts by doing an activity that's just enough to keep our brain active and away from our worrying thoughts. And just by doing this 15 minutes a day is enough to feel refreshed. Now, as I mentioned, it's just really about coloring in the lines. So you can use any abstract design website that you want or coloring book that you might have. What you may also want to do, sometimes I recommend to people who have a lot of worries about being non-artistic, pre-choose the colors that you're going to use and only choose maybe 2 or 3 at the most colors, because I want you to remove any thought that we care what it looks like. If you just use the same exact color, it doesn't matter. Once it's done, it's over. You can get rid of it. It's really just about that process of coloring back and forth. Now, let's say you don't have a printer at home and you did not prepare ahead of time and order a whole bunch of abstract art design coloring books. I am going to teach you how to make a very simple mandala. And this is something that my Uncle Milton taught me when I was young. He taught it to all the cousins. And if my cousins are watching this, you already know what I'm about to do, because we all learned how to do this at a very, very young age. It's a very simple abstract art design. And the thing about this design is that while you're making it, you can be using it as a relaxation technique because it is small, simple, and repetitive. And you can also color it in when you're done, and so you kind of have a 2-for-1. I am going to use this whole sheet to do it, but when you practice it, you can do really, really small ones and fill your sheet with it if you want to extend the activity. You don't even, like I said, you don't even have to color it in. You can just have fun making them all over the paper. So I'm going to start by drawing just like a little plus sign in the middle of the page, okay? And I'm going to just point out 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants. Pretty simple. And now I'm going to draw some lines in the first quadrant over here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it doesn't really matter how many you do. You just want them to be as equidistant as possible, and you want to make sure they end at the very tip of the line here so that there's no extra space. And then I'm going to turn it. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the same number of lines in each quadrant. I'm going to turn it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you guessed it, I'm going to turn it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to start the loops. All right, so let's start with the one on top here. And for the first loop, I'm going to go back to that original plus sign, and I'm going to use that line up here to make an inner loop. And then I'm going to do all the ones in this quadrant. And I kind of want to make sure that, see how I need to extend these lines a little bit. So it ends in the same place as that line ends. And then, oh, yes, I'm going to turn it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to turn it again. Inner loop, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to turn it again for my last grouping here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there you have it. Look at that. It's this interweaving, abstract, very 70s kind of design that, thank you, Uncle Milton, we all know how to do now. And again, you can color it in if you want, or if you just want to make a whole bunch of these because it's kind of fun. And again, really simple and repetitive, just a chance to have something entertaining that you can focus your attention on that won't trigger any worrying thoughts. Give yourself 10, 15 minutes a day to do something like this, to just give your brain that break. And when you're done, you're going to feel a little bit refreshed and you'll be better able to face any of the challenges that are coming your way. I hope you enjoy it. And I'll add some links to websites where I have downloaded other abstract coloring designs so that you can visit those as well.